Hello and welcome to this brand new video. This is part 3 of a 3-part series on studying a bachelor's in Canada. Now, in the previous 2 videos, I talked about the best provinces, universities, and programs that you can pursue in Canada. Subsequently, I then talked about the best colleges, the top ranked public universities in Canada that come with a low fee, and these are the ones that I recommend. It should be on your shortlist. Definitely be on your shortlist if you're applying to Canada, right? Because they improve your chance of getting an admit into a top school, and you end up paying a very reasonable amount of tuition fee and living expenses. Now, in today's video, I'm going to talk about the third stage, which is how to get a Canadian visa, how to make sure that that process is something that you understand clearly and you're able to fulfill all the requirements. Right, let's get started. The first point here is to understand the general eligibility requirements. Now, to apply to Canada, to apply for a Canadian visa, there are a few general eligibility conditions, and these start with the first one being that you must have a valid acceptance letter from an institute which is a designated learning institution, right? Now, this is a list that is provided by the Canadian Immigration Office. So do check out their website because they list out exactly which universities, colleges are accepted as a designated learning institution. The link for that is going to be, I'm going to put that in the description for this video. So do check out the website. Do make sure that the university that you're applying to, that you have an admit from, is a valid DLI, a designated learning institute. So that's the first precondition. The second one is that you must show adequate proof of funds, right? Now that means that, well, even if you are studying a 2-year or a 3-year or a 4-year program in Canada, you must show the ability to fund your education. Now, that doesn't mean that on day one, before you start your education, you need to show, funds for the entire course, although that would be nice. But the minimum requirement is to show at least the first year's worth of, tuition and living expenses that you can bear for yourself, right? So that's quite critical. You also need to show proof of health, right? The fact that you're certified by a medical professional and hold a medical certificate that certifies the same, right? And finally, you also need to have a police clearance certificate, which basically says that, hey, I'm a person who doesn't have a criminal record. I don't have any cases registered against me. And this is obviously something that you can get from either your local police station or the embassy, closest embassy office, or even the consulate, right? So those are the basic eligibility requirements: to have a valid acceptance letter from a DLI, to show, a proof of adequate funds, to have a medical certificate and a police clearance certificate, right? So those are the major eligibility criteria. What are the documents required for a Canadian visa? Well, first and foremost, you need to have a valid passport for a student permit. You also need to have an acceptance letter from the institution that you wish to join, and it must be a valid designated learning institution, right? Just what I talked about previously. You also need to furnish your bank account that shows, the proof of your funding, right? It should show sufficient balance. And if it's not just the bank account, it could be other sources of, funding that you could have. This could include student loans. This could include, scholarships. All of which should put together prove that you have, a sufficient balance that proves that you can fund your own education for at least the first year of your time in Canada. Now, besides these, the Canadian visa will require passport size photographs of you not more than 6 months old. Well, digital records are also considered, right? So you might choose to have a digital copy of your photograph. You should also consider keeping a copy of your English proficiency certificates, right? So whether it's the IELTS or the TOEFL or any other exam that you took, carry them to the visa office when you go in for your visa interview. At the same time, also carry your Canadian visa statement of purpose, right? Study permit statement of purpose, which basically elucidates why you wish to study in Canada, what are your objectives, and why you wish to, study that particular program in Canada, and what your future plans are going to be, right? So try and sort of spell that out, and make sure that you tell them very clearly that you're not coming to Canada for immigration purposes. You're coming there only for educational purposes, and the intent is to study, upskill yourself, and then come back to your host country, come back to India. And finally, you must carry your, proof of academic prowess, right? So this means that carry your degree certificate, your final degree transcript, and carry any possible test scores that you might have, whether it's the SAT, or if you're applying for a master's program, the GRE or the GMAT score. Make sure that these are available at, in your person at the time of your visa interview, right? So these are possibly the documents that you could need, in addition to obviously the police clearance certificate and the medical certificate that I talked about. These are additional documents that you should be carrying. What is the process like? Well, the general sort of advice I would give you is that please do check out the immigration, refugee, and citizenship website, the IRCC website as it's called for Canada. The IRCC website will basically list out the entire process, and also give you an estimated time for how long the process will take. The thumb rule is that the visa application for Canada will typically take about 3 to 4 weeks to process. This is an average number. It could vary depending on the time of the year and the number of applicants at any point in time, right? So make sure that when you flag this thing off, you start early and you check out the IRCC website for what are the expected timelines for yourself. Make sure that you apply for the Canadian visa online. Remember, offline applications are completely discouraged. In fact, an offline application, in-person application is usually allowed only if you have only if you have a specific disability that prevents you from being there, from doing this process online, or if you can prove that somehow you're a refugee, and you're unable to do the process online, right? So very specific cases where an exemption is granted. Otherwise, the process must be completed online. The application fee for a Canadian visa is about 160 Canadian dollars, and so you should be ready to pay this through a credit card, and also make sure that you complete the VFS form, the visa facilitation services, right? The VFS service allows you to take their assistance in processing the visa, completing the documentation and getting the visa back to you, right? So VFS is a service that we would really recommend. The VFS form needs to be filled out by you at the point of application. You need to submit the application and all the required supportings. And so once the document checklist is done by you, make sure that you take the entire set of documents with the filled in application form. Go to your nearest VFS office, maybe call them. I hear that they also arrange for a pickup. So if that's possible, have it, have the entire set of documents picked up from your person, and pay the service fee. Now, service fee, remember, is over and above the application fee for a visa. So you need to sort of speak to the VFS office and figure out how much that's going to be. You're going to pay that application fee, the service fee and the application fee separately. And well, after that, the process begins for you, and you need to coordinate with the VFS officials, and try and figure out how long this is going to take. They will give you a VFS identification number that will help you track your application once the documents are submitted, and so that keep tracking the application. Make sure that you are aware of when the application goes in for processing, and when it finally gets through, right? I'm sure if you follow these instructions to the T, everything's going to be rosy. Everything's going to work out well for you. I certainly do wish you well in this regard. If you need any specific assistance on other aspects of your Canadian application, well, we at Mentors Capital will be glad to provide our services. Remember, we pride ourselves on superior knowledge backed by our large network of mentors. These are people who walk the exact same path as you wish to walk, and so their experience could really make sure that you take the right choices, that you do the right things, say the right things in your application, both to the university and the visa office. So a lot of assistance can come your way. All you need to do is give us a shout. We actually do provide entire assistance from, right from the stage of figuring out which colleges to apply to, which countries to apply to, preparing a shortlist. We can also help you, tackle any admission, any tests, that standardized tests that you might have to take, such as the SAT, the GRE, GMAT, or even the IELTS or the TOEFL, right? So we can help you tackle those tests. We can help you create a superior, impactful application. And if there are any online assessments along the way, any online interviews, in-person interviews, well, we can help you prepare for that, present your best self in such a assessment. All of this so that you get that coveted admit from your dream university abroad, right? The link to contact us is given in the description for this of this video. If you have any queries you'd like us to answer, do reach out to me. If you like this video, or if you have any queries, that you'd like to ask me about this, do post those in the comment section. Otherwise, definitely do like this video, share it in your circles, and I hope to see you in my very next video. Well, that's it for me today. Thank you. All the best, and wish you the very best in your admission and your visa processing.